Right, everyone, how is it going? Welcome back to Invictus Racing League. My name is Jakob here, bringing you round 5 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, one of my personal favourite tracks, I must admit, on the F1 calendar. Usually it is towards the back end of the season, but at Invictus, we like to do things different, as you guys may know. So we are going to be racing around here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for tonight for you guys. As I said, it is round 5. Um, Around Invictus, and we've had a few little changes between last week and this week from China to Abu Dhabi. So I will quickly just show you the driver lineup as you can see on your guys' screen right now. There has been a few changes over towards the standings as well as driver lineup. So as you can see, Jamie Ryan, who was in the Ferrari last week, has been replaced by a newcomer of Ruben. As unfortunately, I don't know what happened with Jamie Ryan. Unfortunately, he had to exit the league. And of course, as you can see, we also have an empty seat in the racing point. So I'm sure if you do race on the PC side and would like to join Invictus, I don't see why it wouldn't be a problem with just dropping one of the organisers of MJ Coop or Jos Hines on Twitter or on the Invictus Twitter, as you can see on your screen. Maybe just dropping them a DM asking to join into the league. At the moment, I can see in the lobby there are 14 drivers. Of course, on your screen, you will just be seeing the driver lineup. Podium Cheetah and Crayon, both still in the Mercedes. Rashid also still in the Ferrari. As I said, Ruben taking over that spot. Both of the Red Bulls of MJ Coupe and Jos both still remain as well. Fashion and Gaudio in the McLarens with Skyzy and Scope, the two QVR boys in the Renaults. Mr. Stim or Plow Up, I still don't know how to say his name. I probably should have learnt it, but hey ho, I suppose that's just the way I go. He's just the lone racing point driver at the moment. Farnham and Typhoon both still in the Alfa Romeos. I think they were on for a decent points finish last week. I think Farnham had a very good points finish last week. I'll get the standings up for you guys in just a second as well on your screen so you can have a look. Mags and Matty as well in the Haas. They had a pretty good race last week as well. Biofreak and Dre Geo. I think Biofreak was on for a win. I don't know what had happened towards the end, like the latter stages of the race still, but unfortunately didn't pick up as many points as he would have wanted. And then you have Bolon and Lacarate in the Williams. And as I said, standings are now going to be coming up on your screen. So you can see Scopefielder did manage to take the win from Skyzy, and with Skyzy finishing, I'm just trying to see exactly where he finished. I think it was P4 last week. It's not helped him in that standings because that's allowed his teammate to shoot off 10 points ahead of Skyzy when Skyzy was already up ahead by 2 points. So Scope does take the lead of the championship. The two Renaults, as I said, they're absolutely dominating at the moment. Dre in the AlphaTauri is sitting in P3 in the championship. He did finish second last week. In fourth, you have got Matty. As I said, he had a pretty good points finish last week. I think he just started off a bit rough, but managed to conjure that back up. As I said, sitting fourth in the championship, moved up ahead of Podium Cheetah, who ended up finishing in P10 last week. He is sitting on 19 points, as I said, in P5. Jos picking up his first podium of the season. He ended up he's now moved up to 6th in the standings, jumping his way well up from, I think it was 9th all the way up to 6th. So good job to Jos on moving himself up in the standings. Rashid dropping down, of course, into P7 with 17 points. MJ Coupe just behind as well on 14 points. Both of the Red Bulls getting a decent points position. Just unfortunate for what happened to NJ Coupe towards the end of the race. I think he said he got like a puncture or something, so it sort of hampered him in the towards the latter stages of the race. Of course, in P9 as well, you can see the first Alfa Romeo of Farnham. Unfortunate to not getting any points last week at China. In P10 is Jamie, although as I said, he has unfortunately retired from the league. Biofreak, as I said, he didn't pick up the good points finishes he did last week. He ended up DNFing in the end. It was going well for him. I think he was towards the top end of the race. Unfortunately, I don't know what had happened to him. It just went from bad to worse for him. I think he spun at one point and then ended up crashing out. So unfortunate for him. In P12, you can see his Typhoon picking up his second points position. Mags in 13th, actually picking up his first set of points last week. Gaudio is in 14th in the McLaren, with the other McLaren of Fashion in 15th, only picking up 1 points position, and that so far was at Austria. In 16th is Crayon. He does say he's a reserve, but as I said, he's now moved up to a full time seat, and he is, of course, in the Mercedes. In 17th, as I said, is a blowout or Mr. Stim, unfortunate to not pick up any sort of points last week. In 18th is Hardcore, although I believe he's also left the league, and then in 19th is Bolon. So yeah, he's of course trying to look maybe to get some sort of points for this week, although I don't actually think I can see him in the lobby, so of course it's not going to be any points for the Hungarian driver for this week either. And then moving on to the constructor standings, you can see at the top, look how it's just the gap between Renault to AlphaTauri is 71 points. Like the Red Bulls and the AlphaTauris are drawing on points, but then Renault, they have not scored less than 20 points as a constructor, and I'm pretty sure they can win the constructors at Canada, and that's only just gone past halfway through the season, which is absolutely ridiculous. But as I said, two Renaults, the two QBR boys on 104 points. Biofreak and Dre both on 33 points, picking up their best amount of points that they did last week. Just unfortunate for Biofreak. I think it was just all down to Dre finishing in that P2 spot. MJ Coop and Jos picking up 15 points for their team last week. As I said, that's now made them tying up with the AlphaTauris. Rashid and now Ruben in the Ferraris on 27 points. Mags and Matty in the Haas, they move up into P5 for the Haas. I think they were quite low down actually last week, if I'm not mistaken. They were like 8th, 7th or 8th. So they've made their way up, picking themselves at 10 points last week. Definitely gave them a massive boost. In 6th, the Alfa Romeos do drop down one place. They drop down into P6 with 20 points. Just behind them on their tail is the Mercedes of Podium Cheetah and now Crayon. Unfortunately, Crayon isn't here tonight, so and I believe both of the Alfa Romeos are. So Podium Cheetah's got a bit of work to cut out for him if he wants to try and keep up with the guys in the Ferrari-powered car. In P9, of course, is the Williams of Bolon, and who did I say was the other one? Lacarate is the other one now. Of course, with Crayon going up to the Mercedes. So Crayon trying to get, well, sorry, Bolon and Lacarate trying to get themselves some more points than just a 1 point. And then, of course, in P10, unfortunately, yet to score any points are the racing points, literally of just consisting of Mr. Stim. But hopefully, he will get a teammate soon that should be able to pick up some points, and hopefully, he can get underway with that one. Now, let's go over to the qualifying session, shall we? So, we are in. We have already started qualifying. We are on board with Biofreak. It should load up the game any second right about now. There you go. I don't know why it's looking like that, so I will get that sorted out for you ASAP. No idea why that's done that, so my apologies. But yeah, whilst we are just trying to sort that out, I want to see if anybody in the chat is going to get some predictions in to see if they are going to be towards the top end of the well, who's going to end up sort of finishing on pole for qualifying. But as I said, we're on board with the guy in the AlphaTauri of Biofreak. I don't know if he may have just invalidated his lap doing that. He has, unfortunately, so he is going to be backing off of his lap. But let's see if who else we can go on board with. See who's maybe just about to make their way across the line. I think Ruben is the first one that's going to make his way across the line. As Ruben makes his way up, does a 34.9, not a bad lap time, but instantly beaten by Scopefielder by 1.2 seconds, and then Skyzy instantly beating that by 4/10 of a second. So the Renaults already asserting their dominance around the Abu Dhabi circuit, and hopefully, you know, it won't be just that the entire time. Hopefully, we can get that all sorted out and all on board. But Lacarate and Typhoon do also put in their times. They do a 34.8, does the Alfa Romeo, and Lacarate goes and does a 34.3. Maybe could be one to challenge the two AlphaTauris for tonight. You never know, you never know. As I said, we have got 14 drivers that are here tonight, so not a bad turnout whatsoever. But I'm going to go on board with the lone Mercedes of Podium Cheetah here tonight. It's a bit of a glitch. I don't know why it still says Scopefielder is the one on pole. Not too sure as to why that is the case, but yeah, Skyzy is definitely the one that is sitting on pole at the moment. Of course, we've got 13 minutes left to go of the qualifying session. I said on board with the Podium Cheetah, now just making his way around the penultimate corner, coming around the final corner and up towards the line. Does Podium Cheetah contend with the two Renaults, he actually only just goes up ahead of the Williams, but is sitting in P3. I probably would tend to say it's a bit of a Formula 1.5 from everybody else below Skyzy and Scopefielder. I'm sure the two Renaults wouldn't mind me saying that because they are pretty rapid. But sitting on board with Dutchman of Jos, he's making his way around the penultimate corner now. And now around the final corner, is it going to be in contention with any of the guys that have put their times in so far? No, it is not. He has gone to the back. He's done a 35.1, and I don't think Jos is going to be happy with that, so he's more than likely going to try and improve on that lap ASAP. But another one that's just making his way around the penultimate corner now is Farnham, and now to come around the final corner does the Swede, and making his way up towards the line again. Not a time I don't think he is going to be happy with, a 36.6. He's of course going to try and maybe go for another lap. Not right now, not on the same set of softs. He's probably going on a new set of soft tyres to try and go for another lap. In case you guys also don't know what the strategy is around here, there's a few different strategies actually, and one that I read up on, which was a bit odd to think. There's a 3-stop that is faster than the medium to hard. I saw, as weird as it sounds, you can stop twice for softs and once for mediums, and that will still be quicker than a medium to hard, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Considering thinking back to F1 2019, where it would be so much easier just to go and do a medium to hard or like a 2-stop with a soft medium medium. Of course, that is one of the strats around here as well. Probably the best strat is a soft medium medium or soft medium soft, depending on how long you can take those mediums. But probably best to do a soft medium medium, just so at least then you get the most out of the medium tyre towards the end of the race. And then, yeah, of course, if you are starting on the soft tyres. If you're actually starting on the mediums, then I believe there is a possibility that you can just do the 1-stop from a medium to softs. It's difficult around Abu Dhabi, I must admit, but it's definitely doable. But sitting on board at the moment with Biofreak, he's making his way down the main DRS straight, closing that at the 100 meter board, getting that stopped very nicely around the tight and twisty chicane at coming up towards the end of sector 2. Is it a purple sector 2 possibly, and maybe looking to try and contend with the two Renaults? It is purple, but then again, I know it does tend to say that a lot of places are purple. So whether that is true or not, I guess we'll wait and see until come up to the end of the lap. He could be well within those two Renaults at the front of the grid. He could just maybe slide it up ahead of Podium Cheetah. I know a lot of guys still haven't done their laps yet, and a lot of guys are definitely going to look to improve on their laps. Of course, the likes of Jos and MJ Coop probably looking to improve on their times. But Biofreak making his way around the final corner and up towards the line. It's in fact a 34.9. I think it was a bit slower than what I actually expected Mr. Biofreak to do, to be completely honest with you. Very interesting. But we shall sit on board with the Ferrari. One of them has done their times, but the other one is Rashid, and he is actually backing off of his lap, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like he's backed off his lap. Which is very odd. No, it seems to be that Matty keeps on having a few disconnection issues, so hopefully he can get back in and everything should be alright after a while. But let's see, who else have we got that's on a lap currently? Ruben is actually invalidated his lap, so we're not going to be able to sit on board with him. Let's have a look. I think Lacquerate has just started a lap, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shut up. I'll turn off the HUD and I'll let you guys enjoy the lap around the Abu Dhabi circuit. Well, it was looking like it was a very nice lap for Lacquer, but unfortunately he's just come out of the pits to not end up finishing his lap. There are two that I have seen that have improved on their times though, and that is Skyzy and Scope. Skyzy has done 32.8 and Scope has done a 33.4. So when Scope thought that his time was good to contend with Skyzy, it just looks like Skyzy has just gone and put one in a lot better, and of course is in 2:32s. Very interestingly enough to keep our eye out on come towards the end of qualifying and seeing if maybe his teammate is going to be able to best him. Of course, these two are almost a second ahead of everybody else at the grid, so I guess we'll wait and see, as I said, when it comes towards the end of the race, or end of qualifying shall I say, if they will still be just almost a second up ahead of everybody else. The two yellows is literally for the two yellows, but I believe Typhoon has just made his way along the line, not improved. Yos, I don't think improved, he stayed down in P9. I believe that was the McLaren of fashion that came across the line, and now MJ Coop makes his way along the line and is only 200ths of a second behind Podium Cheetah. So MJ, it was a good lap time. Unfortunately, Podium Cheetah, well, unfortunately for him, shall I say, Podium Cheetah did end up improving on his time, which has now put him into P3, of course, or still into P3, shall I say. As Dre, the AlphaTauri, the sister team of the Red Bulls, he is going to be the next one across the line. It doesn't look like it's going to be that quick of a time, so I'm assuming he's going into the pits. But I'm just looking to see if there's anybody else that might be on our lap. Podium Cheetah does make his way into the pits. Ruben is just actually about to start his lap, so we'll sit on board with the newbie driver of Ruben, or newbie to the league, shall I say. As he's just making his way around turn 3, around turn 4 now. Is it a purple sector 1 possibly? Nope, but it is a little bit faster than his time, and it was looking like quite a nice, neat and tidy sector 1. Now, sector 2, if you do screw it up, it can cost you a lot of time. Literally, one little mistake can cost maybe 2 to 3 tenths in that lap. So, Ruben at the moment is looking like quite a nice, tidy lap. We'll sit on board with the Ferrari. So you guys do get a view of this one, taking the inside curb to probably the heaviest braking zone on the heaviest braking zone on the track. Now DRS wide open for the second time up towards the S part of the track. A little bit of a lockup going in towards it. It's going to cost him a bit of time and a bit of oversteer as well, and a massive bit of oversteer at the exit of that, and another lockup. So a bit tight for Ruben, but it could still be an improvement. He's just got absolutely nailed sector 3, and it's looking like that's what he is doing. Nicely done coming through the stadium section of the track now as well, the hotel section shall I say, and now making his way up towards the penultimate corner. Is this where Ruben does improve on his time? No, he doesn't, because he is unfortunately invalidated his time. BioFreak is making his way around the penultimate corner, however, and has not invalidated his time. So is this an improvement on his 34.9? It is, and he is the third one to get into the 33. He has done a 33.9, only 5 tenths behind Scope. Lacquer, I was about to say, I'm just about to go on board and watch with him, but he has unfortunately invalidated his lap, so he is not going to be able to finish this one. He might even be in at the end of the lap to try and possibly go on a new set of softs to the end, like for this one. I've just got someone in chat just saying that Matty can't get his pedals working, strangely enough. Very strange. I mean, it looks like they're fine now, but very strange why he can get his pedals working. Very, very strange. Who's this one that's just about to start his lap? So it's going to be Dre. Scope actually retires from the session, so unless someone puts in an absolute monstrous lap and beats Skyzy, both of the Renaults have actually retired. So I think they've done all that they can. I don't think they've well, they think that nobody else is going to be able to possibly best them. But we'll sit on board with Dre as he is just starting his lap now, as well as Lacquerate has left the session. Not too sure why, if he's just lagged out or what, but Dre, a bit of oversteer on the exit of turn 1, not something that the AlphaTauri would have wanted, but making his way up towards the first sector. Is he up or down on his time? He is up on his time, so not bad at all, but as he's making his way up towards the hairpin now, nice wide entry to get a nice quick exit out of the hairpin. Now DRS is going to be wide open, excuse me, for the AlphaTauri. Making his way, as I said, up towards the heaviest braking zone on the track, seeing if he will get this one stopped nicely or if he will end up locking up in towards it. He did lock up massively, and that's going to cost him a lot of time for locking up as hard as he did. A little interesting thing to note as well, just whilst we are on board, Ruben has gone on a set of the medium tyres to try and go for a lap, so we'll keep our eye out on the Ferrari towards the end of qualifying, as Lacquerate is back in the session, so that is good to see. I didn't actually catch if Dre was up on his time, but he looks like he's just backing off of that time because it didn't look like it was going well for him. Jos has just started his lap. I believe that is Ruben just behind MJ Coupe, getting ready to start his lap as well. So who's behind Dre that's next to come across the line? It will be the one currently sitting in P4 of Podium Cheetah. So we'll go on board with the lone Mercedes as he's just making his way around the final section of the track. I think I just saw it say he was about 3 tenths up on his time. So making it, as long as he has a nice clean third sector, making his way through the hotel section, which is looking like he is, he could put himself up into P3. So let's have a look. Making his way around the final corner, does the Brit in the Mercedes, it comes up to the line. A 33.6 does slot him into P3. MJ Coupe, is he going to be able to get any sort of better lap time done? He has in fact had to bail, locking up extremely, as I said, into the heaviest braking zone on the track. It's difficult to get right. If you get it right, it does give you a few extra tenths on your time. Jos is actually almost 3 tenths up on his time as well, so we'll stick on board with Dutchman as he will be the next one across the line, and I believe that is Typhoon just behind him, trying to set a lap and maybe keep himself in the top 10. But Jos around the hotel section kept it nice and clean through there, and unfortunately has invalidated on his lap time, but he's still going to finish it nonetheless just to see where he would have come. It would have been a 34.2. That would have put him only just up ahead of his teammate by 0.03 of a second into P5. But Ruben is going to be the final one across the line, and in fact he's invalidated this time. So that is all she wrote for qualifying, as MJ Coupe, as I said, he is going very slowly to make his way up towards the line as well. So yeah, that is qualifying all done. Skyzy and Scope, of course, the two Renaults looking out the front row. This time Skyzy is the one taking advantage, and he wants a bit of revenge for what happened last week at China. But Scope, the Swede, we'll see if he does try to counteract it. Of course, if you guys don't know the point systems by now in IRL, 15 points will be the most that you can get for first place. Then it's 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And of course, there is a point for the fastest lap as well. So if they do end up getting the fastest lap, they will get the extra point. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Scope did take the full 16 last weekend, or sorry, last week at China. So maybe he could take it again, or maybe the Frenchman Skyzy could possibly try and take it and claw his way back in towards the championship. I mean, as I said, 10 points behind his teammate. If Skyzy does pick up the win and the fastest lap, that's at least 4 points back on his teammate. So I think that's really what the Frenchman is hoping. And racing Skyzy around here before, I know Skyzy is very quick around Abu Dhabi. So we'll keep our eye out and see if Scope will be able to best Skyzy around here. But I mean, you can see it, 5 tenths separating the two teammates. Skyzy, as I said, taking pole position with Scope in P2, Podium Cheater in P3, Biofreak in P4 with MJ Coupe in P5, Lacquerate in 6th with Rashid in 7th, Jos in 8th, Fashion in 9th with Typhoon, rounding out the top 10. Ruben gets his fresh choice of tyre, same with Matty and Dre and Farnham, all getting, again, fresh tyre choice that they would like. So as I said, we are here at the Yas Marina circuit around the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Everyone that is new to the stream, hello, welcome. As I said, my name is Jakob, the new commentator for the PC side, in case you guys didn't catch me last week, and we are here for round 5 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As I said, you can see the 3 sectors there, DRS1 and DRS Detection Zone 2, 21 corners around the Yas Marina circuit. And again, I'm very interested to see how few of these guys are going to be faring on. As I said, Sky's taking a whopping almost 6 tenths ahead in pole position, so maybe we'll see if Scope is able to try and contend with him as well as a few other guys. But you can see, the Yas Marina has an advanced track design, 6 different places within it as well. Abu Dhabi is the only current F1 race which is named after its host city rather than its host country, which would be in the United Arab Emirates. The Renaults, as I said, they have won every race so far in the IRL F1 PC. Stopped last week, by that, and Scope will be going for an IRL record for his 28th career win tonight. Of course, his teammate, he might be able to stop him from doing that, so we'll keep our eye out on that and see if he is able to potentially stop him from getting anywhere near that 28th IRL win, and maybe Skyzy could have something to do with that. We are just waiting for the rest of the guys at the moment to sort out their strategies, but as I said, for now, if you guys want to put in the top in the chat who you think will be finishing in the top 3, as I said, just whilst we are waiting for the rest of the guys to get their strategies and setups all sorted out. But I know it's around Abu Dhabi and I know it's in the desert. Usually it is a dry race. I have experienced on the rarest occasion that there has been rain here. So it's good to see that there is no rain here. And it's looking like it is going to be quite a dry race altogether. But we are now about to start getting into the formation lap around here. But what I'm going to do is really quickly just take a quick drink and I will be back with you guys in just a moment. There we go. So let's have a look at what the guys outside of the top 10 have decided to go on for Ruben, Matty, Dre, and Farnham. Ruben goes on a set of the soft, so he's trying to match those guys in the top 10. And Matty, Dre, and Farnham are all going on a set of the medium tyres. Like I said in qualifying, you can do a 2-stop around here, which I believe is usually the quickest strategy, as you can now see on your screen. The 2-stop is definitely the easiest way to go about it. You can do a soft to medium or soft medium soft to try and get softs to the end of the race. Is probably going to be the best bet. Or you can go and do a soft medium to take those to the end of the race. I'm hoping it's going to come up with a graphic to see what it will say at the bottom, but if my theory is correct, we should possibly see these guys, Matty, Dre and Farnham, try and do a 1-stop from medium to soft, or they may try and do a medium to hard, pit a bit early on the set of the medium tyres to take the hards to the end of the race. However, the hards around here, I would just say now, they are very bad. They're about 1.5 seconds slower each lap than the mediums and the soft tyres, whereas I don't think there's too much of a difference between the softs and the mediums around here. But again, we'll see if the strategies do pay out. We'll see what they do go on towards the middle of the race. Of course, there are 28 laps around here, around the Yas Marina circuit. And we are just waiting for all of these guys just to make their way up towards the line so we can get this race underway. As I said though, anybody in the chat want to probably try and get some top 3 predictions in? I will probably go ahead and say right now that I reckon the top three are going to be, in fact, probably what the order that they're in at the moment. I reckon it'll be Skyzy, Scope, and Podium, Cheetah. But may see some changes just underneath those guys depending on what happens in the race. Of course, safety cars can also play a part into it. The guys that are on the softs at the moment, if safety car comes in, it helps them out massively. The guys on the mediums, they will absolutely hate to see a safety car within the first couple of laps. So here we go, 5 lights. And it is lights out and away we go. And you can see that Scope did not get the start that he would have wanted against his teammate. Podium getting a very good start as well. And MJ Coop already up ahead of Biofrick, going around the outside in towards turn 1, going off the track to get that move done. And Yoss trying to go down the inside of turn 2 in trying to keep up ahead of Fashion. But Fashion now going down the inside into turn 3 on the Dutchman, gets that position up ahead of him. And Yoss trying to force a move maybe down in towards turn 4, but has had the door shut on him. So has to stay up behind him for now. Matty did manage to keep in P12 just up ahead of the Alpha Tauri, but they are both side by side through the hairpin, and Matty does keep that position. But other than that, MJ Coop did manage to get past Biofreak at the beginning of the race, going around the outside. It was a bit off track, but at the moment, MJ Coop, he's already up the back of Podium Cheetah, and I think MJ is going to try and resemble what his teammate did last week around China. But Typhoon getting a move done on Ruben as well towards the back end of the grid, of course fighting for that final points position, as Matty now trying to get past Ruben, as Lacare and Rashid have both just changed positions. And Lacare, nothing that he could do to try and defend from the Ferrari driver. Says he's a lap down, although I think there's a bit of decent going on. As you can see, the cars are somehow mounting each other. And I think that's probably a bit of a scary sight for Yoss just behind these two. But you can see it from the hotel section as well. The gap already between Biofreak and MJ Coop is already a second down. And you can already see the top two. Skyzy has already pulled out a second to his teammate. It says he's dropped down positions, but it's not true. Scope is the one that has carried on, as Lacare is actually gone into the barrier at the end of the lap, and I think he's got a bit of front left wing damage, if I'm not mistaken. I'll see if I can get that. He has got some front left end plate damage, so the Williams, he's not going to be very happy with that. I mean, as I said, he can still come in, pit for a set of he can go on 2 sets of mediums to the end of the race, so that is always the strategy that he could possibly do. But going on back on board with our race leaders of Skyzy and Scope already, as I said, they pulled out a massive gap, or should I say Scope's pulled out a massive gap to the guys behind, but Skyzy's pulled out a gap already to his teammate. So Skyzy, if he just tries to keep it out of that 1 second DRS zone, then I believe he will more than likely win the race. There are blue flags that are flashing. No idea why, considering that no one's been lapped yet. I suppose it's just a broken game that Cody's is. At the moment, though, MJ Coop is on a right charge to try and get this P3 position from Podium Cheetah. Last time out, as I said, in China, unfortunate for the Brit, he did not get the result that he would have wanted. I believe he was in the top 4, maybe even the top 5 almost the entire time in China. Just, I think something had happened towards the middle part of it, and then I think that was it. But Skyzy, 37.9 was the fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken. Ruben getting himself a 3-second time penalty already on lap 2, and DRS is enabled, as you can see down the bottom left of your screen. So MJ Coop is already only 5 tenths behind the Podium Cheetah. You can see the gap between him, Podium Cheetah and Scope, as MJ Coop, I was talking about him, and he's already spun it around in turn 3, so he's, well, I may have just had a bit of commentator's curse with him, so my apologies, MJ. But, I mean, yeah, he was well within a chance of getting a podium. I suppose the Podium Cheetah is managed to cheat his way to a podium. Well, not cheating his way to the podium, but I thought I'd just try and find a bit of a clever pun. Didn't work. But he is already 3 seconds up ahead of Biofreak, as Rashid now trying to go down the inside of Bio towards the heavy braking zone of the quick left to right-hander, and does not get the move done. But I think there was a reason why for that. He does have the DRS now coming up towards the S section of the track, and you can already see how much speed he has got in comparison to the AlphaTauri. Goes around the outside of BioFreak, getting that moved on. BioFreak trying to go for maybe a bit of a dive and lunge to the inside, not able to get any sort of move done. So Rashid into P4. BioFreak now has to settle for P5, and a bit of an oversteer moment that might allow Fashion to maybe try and get some sort of overtake done on the AlphaTauri before coming up to the hotel section, but BioFreak does manage to keep it in one piece and does manage to stay up into P5. So Rashid, good move from him. Of course, it was probably going to be one of the easier moves. A lot of the moves you're going to see are going to be on that second DRS straight, or maybe even on the first DRS straight, as BioFreak actually picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. And from the looks of things already, his soft tyres just do not look comfortable for him, because you can see on the exit of nearly every corner, he's just getting quite a bit of oversteer. And that's one of them from turn 1. You could just see it. Yeah, I know he went wide, but yeah, hopefully he can try and keep it a bit more on track. But Mr. Ozone Typhoon just behind Jos and seeing if he can maybe conjure up a move on the Dutchman, but does stay up ahead of him for now. Although a little bit of a tap from him, that's going to ruin all of his momentum, and that could allow Ruben to maybe try and eye up a move on the Alfa Romeo. But at the moment, Jos is closing up to the back of Fashion. He is gaining on him, while the Fashion does have himself that DRS as well, but not able to get any sort of close enough to that. And Ruben has somehow spun on a straight. I only just managed to catch the back end of that. I don't know if that was because Ruben was trying to attack Typhoon and just turned it a bit too much to the point where it spun him. I'm honestly not too sure, but Matty on the set of the mediums, he's already moved up into P8. That was very odd. It was very odd. But we have got a massive DRS train already behind Rashid, with the likes of BioFreak, Fashion, Jos, Matty, Typhoon. Of course, the top 3, as I said, they've already gone. Skyzy nearly 2 seconds up ahead of his teammate. Scope already 3.5 seconds up ahead of Podium Cheetah, and Podium Cheetah is 4 seconds up the road, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen from Rashid. But this battle in here for 4th place, as I said, it is still 8 points on the line, which is still a good amount of points to get. Just seeing how all of these guys are going to fare on, as Matty is actually doing very well at the moment on those set of medium tyres. I mean, someone said Matty will win. There could be a chance he could take a win, but I know all these guys' soft tyres are going off already, as you can see, as DRS is now wide open for the Haas driver. He's not going to be close enough to get any sort of move done on Jos, although Jos, he is closing up to the back of Fashion very quickly. I may have tried to go for a bit of a lunge, but has had to stay behind him, and Ruben into the pits and actually comes out just behind MJ Coop, very close between the both of them. But I'm going to stick on board with this battle here, as Jos trying to maybe go around the outside of Fashion in towards the S section, but locks up massively. Fashion does park it on the apex, although he did look like he had a bit of a bit too, or he did go a bit too wide out of the exit of the S section of the track. As I did also see, BioFreak did pick himself up yet another 3-second time penalty, so that's already 6 seconds within the first 5 laps. At this rate, I believe BioFreak will be disqualified. As in fact, speaking of the devil, he goes into the pits, so he is the first one out of the front lot to make his way into the pits. Does anybody follow him though? It doesn't look as if they do, so Bio is trying to go for a massive undercut on everybody in front of him. Of course, other than the guys that are on the set of the mediums already. But I did believe I did pick it up, seeing that MJ Coop did pick himself up a 3-second time penalty. Now it's very close between these 5 here for P5. Sorry, these 4 here for P5. And Stray, you can see just a little bit in the background, but look at how close Matty is. He is gaining on the back of Jos, although with DRS, with overtake, with ERS and DRS, I don't think Matty's going to be able to get any sort of move done on the Dutchman, but is so close to the back of him. I bet he wishes that either Jos could just overtake Fashion already, or that, well, just to try and get any sort of move done, as Rashid already 2 seconds up the road. You can just see that red car just going through the S's now, as Jos maybe trying to eye up a move and go around the outside of Fashion in towards the S's. He has closed the door as Lacquerate is retired in the pit lane, so no points for the Williams. I believe it was also his debut, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And with Fashion closing the door on Jos, it's costed him quite a bit of time, which is now allowing Matty to try and attack the back of him. And I also just saw Typhoon was very close to the back of him as well. But a nice little helicopter shot of this podium cheater. The first one out of the top three to make his way into the pits, and Fashion also follows him into the pits. So we will see where they all come out. In relation to Biofreak, I'm going to actually sit on board with Biofreak. As you can see, all of those guys are into the pits now. Podium cheater already out of his pit box, but Fashion has only just gotten into his. So where is Biofreak going to come out in relation to all of these guys? As he's looking like he's going to do a 2-stop of soft medium and maybe another set of mediums or maybe a set of softs. We'll wait and see. But Biofreak around the first corner, and you can see how much ahead he is of Fashion already. 2-second gap, and look at how much he's closed up to the back of Podium Cheater. It's a 3-second gap between him and Podium Cheater, when it was, I think it was about 4 seconds before. But a battle here for P4 as Jos trying to defend the outside from Matty. He will have the inside line. A bit of contact between a pair of them. Not enough space given, I don't think, and Jos is round. He didn't get himself any wing damage from the looks of things. It's just a bit of contact where I don't think Matty had left enough space for Jos to be able to go around the outside for him. So it's going well for Jos, but very unfortunate what had just happened. Are we going to be seeing one of those Renaults maybe make their way into the pit this lap? Let's have a look. I believe Skyzy is in. He is. So Skyzy comes in. Where is he going to come out in relation to everybody else? As Rashid also comes in, Matty is going to inherit P2 at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. Although we'll see where Skyzy comes out, as he's just making his way up towards the exit of the pit lane. But there goes Matty, there goes Typhoon. Typhoon's actually stayed out, as Jos also has made his way into the pits. But Typhoon staying out is a bit of an interesting one. Dre comes out ahead of Skyzy as well, so Skyzy's got a bit of work cut out for him if he wants to try and maintain that lead of the race. I think Scope's best bet is really just to stay out, or to maybe come in this lap to try and gauge the undercut, because Skyzy, he's not going to be hanging around, but it's not going to be easy to get past any of these guys whatsoever, as he will have the DRS on Dre. But is he going to try and save it for the second DRS, or is he just going to go straight for a move? He, in fact, just goes straight for a move. Dre doesn't fight it, and that's Skyzy into P4, as Typhoon is actually doing quite well to keep tabs with Matty, because I would have thought Typhoon's tyres would have been running out by now, and this might even allow Typhoon to do a one-stop of a softer medium, if he plays his cards right. And I wonder if that may be what Scope is looking to do as well. As if I'm not mistaken as well, pit stops around here average on around 18 or 19 seconds. So with Scope, he does stay out. So Scope staying out, this is where things are going to get interesting, because Skyzy is now in a bit of traffic with Typhoon and Matty. As I said, I feel like this is the right call, because I think all of this is just going to hold up Skyzy as much as possible. And I don't think Skyzy's going to be very happy with it, but I think Scope's going to be absolutely loving it as Podium Cheater. Fastest lap off the race, 37.8. On those fresh medium tyres. As Skyzy eyeing up a move and maybe trying to go down the inside of the chicane. No, he does not. And keeps behind the Alfa Romeo at the moment of Typhoon. But Skyzy got a much better exit than what Typhoon did out of the hairpin. Already passed him before the DRS has even opened. And now both still side by side. In fact, Typhoon just does drop back behind the Frenchman, trying to get a bit of slipstream now, trying to go down the inside of Skyzy in towards the heaviest braking zone on the track. Does not get any sort of move done to Skyzy. Of course, now I'm in a P3. He's now got to try and get past Matty if he wants any chance of still being able to maintain this race lead when Scope does come in. Of course, I believe Scope may come in this lap, but Matty now trying to go down the trying to keep it around the outside from Skyzy, but just does let him through. Skyzy is now in a P2. 14.7 seconds from his teammate, and I believe he will jump his teammate once he's come out of the pits. But Rashid has also just gotten past Biofreak. This was for a net P4, as Rashid has just set the fastest section 2. But as I said a minute ago, Typhoon, he's doing a very good job of keeping up with Matty, especially whilst Typhoon is on these soft tyres. As in fact, Scope carried on. So Scope is going to try and do a one. I believe he will try and do a one stop from soft to medium. And I believe Typhoon's going to do the same. But it looks like all the gaps are starting to spread out now in the race, of course, where Typhoon Scope's still not made their pit stops as of yet. I think predicting it where Scope's going to come out when he does make his pit stop, he might actually come out sort of around where his teammate was, behind Dre Geo. Maybe, just maybe, even behind Podium Cheetah, as he has started to close all the way to the back of Dre already. He's only 1.5 seconds behind him as well. As you can see, Skyzy now only 12 seconds behind his teammate. Scope's definitely going to get jumped by his teammate once he does make that pit stop. But Scope, I think, is just trying to long out a one stop. He's still not come into the pits as there are yellows. It is Biofreak. I don't know what has happened to him, but he's gone round at the hotel section. In fact, it's not even at the hotel section. It's just after the S section. You can see he's gone round. As Drake goes into the pits, Matty also goes into the pits. So the two medium runners, two of the four medium runners that started on those mediums, already into the pits, and Farnham actually stays out and keeps up ahead of Rashid. So it's a bit of a sister team fight here. The Alfa Romeo versus the Ferrari, and of course another one that will probably occur soon will be an Alpha Tauri versus Red Bull. As you can see towards the back end of the grid, Biofreak and MJ Coupe very close to each other. But look at how much a difference it is from a fresh medium to a dead medium. Rashid getting a much better exit in comparison to Farnham. Now Rashid trying to get into the DRS and the slipstream. He has got the DRS wide open, trying to get the slipstream. Goes around the outside of Farnham to keep the inside of the heavy braking zone and gets the move done on the Alfa Romeo. So Rashid is now up in a P5, but Farnham will have that DRS once again as Typhoon and Podium Cheetah do just swap positions. But Farnham, he's not going to try any sort of move on to Rashid, so he does stay back behind him, and there's nothing that Rashid could do. So Scope finally makes his way into the pits. Does Typhoon? Typhoon does also make his way into the pits. So the two guys that were yet to make any pit stops on the softs, they have come into the pits. Scope does go on a set of the mediums, and as I said, he could be jumped by Podium Cheetah. He's been jumped by the Mercedes. So Podium Cheetah is now into P2, and I think Skyzy is going to be absolutely loving this, because he's now 5 points ahead of his teammate, which then brings him back another 5 points. So literally 5 points will be split in both Skyzy and Scope going into round 6 and a halfway point of the championship, if it remains this way. However, like I said, Scope's going to try and do a one-stop if I'm not mistaken. Skyzy, I'm thinking, is going to need to pit again. It's difficult, it's doable, but it is difficult to get a one-stop done from where he had pit. I was just looking towards the back end of the points situation. Dre only 5 tenths behind Typhoon, as Typhoon actually, I didn't realise, managed to jump Dre. Interestingly enough. So got the overcut done on the AlphaTauri. And he's remained up ahead of Typhoon, although Typhoon now coming under a bit of pressure as Dre trying to go around the outside of Typhoon in towards the S section of the track, as Typhoon does just back out of it, although Dre, massive lockup, and that's going to allow Typhoon to maybe try and get a bit of an attempt, although he touches the back of Dre, as Dre has a bit of an oversteer moment. And I don't think Typhoon is going to be particularly too happy, as Fashion and Farnham were just battling then. I think Fashion, if I'm not mistaken, I think he just went around the outside of Farnham, around the hotel section. And if he did that, that is mighty impressive, as Farnham, his tyres are absolutely dead. He's on 12 lap older medium tyres now. And he looks like he's just about to be caught by Matty. But Farnham, again, like I said, I don't think there's anything he's going to be able to do to stop the charge of Matty. DRS is wide open for the Haas. In fact, he goes just around the outside. I don't think Farnham was going to try and fight that too hard. He's on his own strategy. And Matty moved on the Alfa Romeo. But Farnham, again, is another one of those situations. He will get the DRS from that long straight, as well as, in fact, I think I just seen, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was Ruben and MJ Coupe just changing positions. I didn't really sort of manage to catch that properly, but Farnham, he didn't manage to get back past Matty, and Matty's now starting to close up that gap to Fashion, a fellow FXR teammate, as Typhoon and Dre battling it out, as I believe Dre is trying to attack Typhoon for that P9, but Typhoon is not having any of it and keeping that P9 at the moment, so good job for Typhoon. But yeah, let's see, is Fashion going to have anything to say on his, I'll say his teammate, because it's FXR, they're both in FXR, so we'll see if Matty does able to get past Fashion. As Biofreak, yet another 3-second time penalty. He's already at the back of the grid. It's not looking like it's a good day for the AlphaTauris, and it looked like the Red Bulls might actually end up moving up ahead of him. Or better, even more importantly, I think the McLarens might even move up ahead of them, if I'm not mistaken. When the McLaren's not even like 6 points behind them. But Matty's still no way of getting past Fashion as of yet, although Fashion, I think, had a bit of an oversteer moment coming out of that chicane into the second DRS straight. But again, Matty, unfortunately, not fighting back. There's nothing that he can do to get close, as it just looks like Fashion is a lot quicker in a straight line in comparison to Matty. But Matty does look like he makes it up around in the corners, so he may have a bit more downforce in comparison to what Fashion does. As Ruben, yet another 3-second time penalty for him as well. He is currently sitting down in P11 and could be under attack soon from MJ Coupe, as I believe the medium runners now, they are possibly going to need to make their second stop very shortly, as Matty, look how close he is to the back of Fashion, and same with Yoss to the back of Farnham. Farnham, by the way, still on those medium tyres that he started on. 14 laps they have gone. We're already made our way now halfway through, as Rashid picks himself up a 3-second time penalty interestingly enough. And we could be seeing a battle for P2 shaping up very shortly, as Scope is now very close to the back of Podium Cheater. In fact, he's within DRS 8 tenths behind him, as Yoss and Typhoon just changed positions, as Farnham's actually gone off, gotten himself quite a bit of wing damage as well. I don't know how he's gone off. I don't know if he got a tap from his teammate or what. As I know, or might have got an attack from Yoss, as I know Yoss was very close to the back of him. But Matty now, he looks like he got the much better exit in comparison to Fashion. Coming onto the second DRS straight now. DRS wide open for the Haas. Already gotten past him. I don't think Fashion is going to try and fight that too hard. And now Matty into the top 5 when he started down in P11 on the grid. Sorry, P12 on the grid, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I'll have a look at the position changes so you guys can see them. And yeah, as said, Matty started in P12. He's already now up into P5. And Biofreak, unfortunately, the one that's lost out the most. The same with MJ. Bio losing out 8 places, MJ losing out 6, and Scope the only other one that's actually lost out on places other than Lacrate, who's retired from the race. But Scope losing that one position, although it looks like he could be making it back very shortly, as he is only 5 tenths behind Podium Cheetah. But Skyzy, look at how much of a gap he's already built up. As there are more yellows. I believe, I was just talking about it again, it was MJ Coupe being one of the ones that have lost out the most, and of course now he is the one that has lost out the most, as Yoss comes in at the pits. It's a bit early for him. He might be getting a... Surely he's not getting a wing change. He is getting a wing change. And I believe Farnham will be as well, because I did see that he had some front left end plate missing, so he, unfortunately, it's his strategy that is over and done with. He's more than likely going to try and go either on a set of softs to go to the end, or go on a set of hards to the end of the race. But here we go, Podium Cheater now. DRS is wide open for him, as he did get overtaken by Scope on the first detection zone. Not close enough. Scope, he inherits P2. And as I said, if Skyzy does choose to make another stop, he's going to need to do a bit of work to catch up to the back of Scope. By my calculations, when he comes back out of the pits, he will be about 6 or 7 seconds behind the Swede. But again, that's if Skyzy does choose to make another pit stop. Like I said, he's done 8 laps on these mediums so far. I mean, Farnham was looking like it was going well for him. He took those 14 laps, those mediums. You know what I mean? That Skyzy would need to take them another 5, sorry. Maths for some reason just did not decide to work in my brain today. But again, we'll see if he is able to do that, as Podium Cheater's already lost out now 1.5 seconds behind Scope, and the gaps are already starting to build up entirely from everybody, as I think this is actually the closest battle on track for P2. But Podium Cheater is just losing time constantly to Scope, and Ruben, he makes his way into the pits. Is this just an actual pit stop for him? It is. So Ruben, mediums to the end of the race. He's starting on a set of mediums, actually, now that I think about it. So I'm surprised. No, he didn't. He's starting on a set of softs. Sorry, my apologies. So Ruben, he's going to be taking these mediums to the end of the race. Where does he come out in relation to Yoss? As Yoss just goes past the pit exit. Yeah, all the gaps like they're starting to form. But you know what? We'll go on board with Skyzy, because he so far has driven a very good race. We'll stick on board for a couple laps of him, just whilst there's a few guys that have yet to make their pit stops. Although saying that, Podium Cheater is into the pits for a second stop. Rashid does follow him into the pits as well. Matty does stay out, however. So in fact, one interesting thing I did just realise as well, Matty obviously went on a set of mediums when he started on a set of mediums, so he's still going to need to make another pit stop no matter what. and he was closing up to the back of Rashid pretty quickly before, from what I remember. So he's going to maybe go on a set of softs, probably within the next couple of laps or so, to the end of the race. But Skyzy, I said 10.5 seconds up ahead of his teammate. But like I said, Scope, I think he's more than likely going to try and take these mediums to the end of the race anyway. He's already taken them 5 laps. Another 10 laps, and that's them done. So it's 15 laps. Farnham pretty much did it. Just I don't know what happened with him at the first chicane. Or chicane at the first sector. But Skyzy, he's starting to drop a bit of time to Scope. The gap was about sort of 10.4, 10.3 seconds. It's now dead on 10. Dropping down even into the 9s. So maybe Skyzy's starting to drop off on these medium tyres and may look to come into the pits within the next couple of laps. Although Skyzy, literally, if he does come into the pits and comes back out, he will remain in P2 no matter what. He's 26 seconds up ahead of Matty, who's 17 seconds behind Scope. So I believe Scope may even have a free pit stop to maybe go on a set of softs if Skyzy does choose to pit. Again, that's if Scope also wanted to get the full 16 points, or attempt to get the full 16 points. But right now, Jos, as you've just seen, he picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. I believe that is his first one of the race. And Biofreak, yet another 3-second time penalty. That's 12 seconds now, if I am not mistaken, for the man in the AlphaTauri. In fact, I'm just going to have a check of the penalties actually, whilst there are no battles that are going on at the moment. So let's have a look. So at the moment we have got Skyzy, just the 1 warning, or I think it might be 2 because it said invalidated lap time, so it might be 2, it might be just be the 1. Scope has absolutely no warnings. Matty, no warnings. Podium Cheetah has actually picked up a penalty this lap, so it must have been Wassels just trying to look and see who's got penalties. He must have just picked himself up one. Typhoon, no penalties at the moment, on 2 warnings, however. Dre, of course, still going to need to make another pit stop. He got his 2nd warning on this lap. Rashid, I believe, is 1 warning away from a penalty as well. Fashion, also 1 away from getting himself a penalty. Jos has 2 penalties. So I thought he only had the 1, so that's my apologies, but he's got 2 penalties. Ruben, 1 penalty, 2 penalty, 3 penalty, 4. No, he's only got 3. MJ, 2 penalties. Farnham, not even a penalty. Biofreak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 penalties. So Biofreak, I don't think he's going to end up finishing in the points unless something drastic happens out with the guys in the top 10, as Matty and Podium Cheetah both trading positions. As Podium Cheetah did set the fastest lap of the race just now, as he is on the fresher compound of tyre in comparison to the guy who he was just battling with, of course, being Matty. As I said though, Matty's going to need to come into the pits soon, because he will need to make another stop, and same with Dre, as they both started on a set of mediums. But despite Biofreak having those 15 seconds of penalties, it's not going to stop him from trying to get any sort of battles done on track, as he is in DRS now trying to overtake Farnham. 4P12 is down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. He gets that move done, so good move for Biofreak. Again, with that 15 seconds of penalties, I don't think there's much he's going to be able to do. As was talking about Matty, he's already just come in and out of the pits on a fresh set of soft tyres. Has he come out ahead of his FXR compadre though? Let's have a look. Fashion has come out ahead of him. But Matty, of course, being on those set of soft tyres, 1.5 seconds just behind him. I believe Matty could still possibly finish in that top 5. Of course, Dre, another pit stop's going to need to be made. Typhoon doesn't, but I don't think he's going to be able to make those tyres last another 7 laps. Again, he could do. It'd be impressive. But the one I think I'm going to be most impressive if he does it is Skyzy. We have got 7 laps left of the race to go. Skyzy is the one in the lead at the moment. He is 8.5 seconds up ahead of his teammate, who is sitting in P2. As I said, 9 lap old medium tyres. He's going to be taking those to the end. Is Scope Fielder. Podium Cheetah is in P3. He's on 2 lap old mediums. In 4th is Typhoon, of course, on 8 lap old mediums as well. He may try and come into the pits, or he may even try and take those to the end. And if he does manage to take them to the end, then I think that'll just be paid off and worked for him. As Matty and Fashion just changing positions, so I didn't know that Fashion was fighting that one too hard, but Matty getting past Fashion in very good fashion. As Dre into the pits, already jumped by Matty, already jumped by Fashion. Is it going to be jumped by Yoss though? Just having a look, you can see Dre there, and it looks like he has just been jumped by Yoss. By quite a bit as well. And in fact, Ruben, I thought he did jump Dre, but Dre actually got up ahead of Ruben. So Dre getting the overcut done, and I don't think Dre picks himself up any sort of DRS if I'm not mistaken. No, he did not. Of course, we have got 6 laps left to go around the Yas Marina circuit. Skyzy, he's going to try and do this one stop. He's already taken these mediums 14 laps. It's going to take him another 5, at least. If he does this, I mean, I'll be shocked to start off with, but you can only give credit where credit's due. As Rashid picks himself up yet another 3-second time penalty does the Ferrari. So with all of these penalties, I don't know where anybody is going to end up finishing. As I said, I don't think the top 2 have got any sort of pens as of yet. Apparently Scopefielder doesn't even have a warning. But a battle in the back that could possibly be heating up. It is, as I said, the 2 sister teams of the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. As Biofreak, even though with those 15-second penalties, it is closing up very quickly to the back of MJ Coupe. But of course, Bio not close enough to get any sort of move done on MJ. In fact, not even close enough to get any sort of DRS. So let's have a look. Ruben picking himself up yet another 3-second time penalty. Not good for the new Ferrari driver. As Typhoon and Rashid maybe look like they're going to be battling very shortly. As MJ running very wide at the exit of the S's. Bio now, he has closed up as MJ Coop actually just gives himself up a 3-second time penalty. He did just graze the wall at the hotel section. I don't think he got himself any damage, but this is all allowing Bio Freak to get closer and closer to getting that points finish for him. So just sticking on board with the AlphaTauri game, still not close enough to getting any sort of move done on MJ. He is just following behind him. However, DRS will be open for him once he passes that DRS line, which is going to be now. So there you go, DRS now wide open for the AlphaTauri, and you can see he isn't actually closing in. Or closing in as much as I thought. So MJ Coop must have a pretty low downforce setup. But I don't think Bio is going to stop to try and attack him. As 4 laps left now to go around the Marina circuit. I said Skyzy, 16 lap old mediums now, 7 seconds is the gap between him and Scope. All Skyzy needs to do is just hope he does not get a puncture, and then that win is his. As you can see at the moment though, Rashid, he's caught up to the back of Typhoon. Typhoon's also been on these mediums for 12 laps. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be the highest points finish for Typhoon so far in Invictus. But Rashid now closing up to the back of Typhoon quickly. Not able to get any sort of move done. So let's have a look now. DRS wide open for Rashid. Typhoon, no ERS left for him. Rashid now trying to go down the inside and towards the S's. No. Typhoon, I think, was going to leave the space for him, but Rashid thought otherwise and backs out of that. So that Typhoon, again, is some good defending, even though Rashid was going to try and go for a dive. Still. But, you know what, let's go on board with this battle here, Jos and Dre. As I said, the two sister teams looking like they are battling. And I say that, the other two sister teams are battling, BioFreak and MJ Coop. Bio, I don't know what had happened there, it looked like he had to cut the corner for the S section, but I think MJ actually had the corner already. As in fact, I'm going to go back on board with this one as Typhoon actually goes very wide out of the exit of turn 5. And that's allowed Rashid to go through. Rashid, he's also the one that collected the DRS. And now Matty, only 1 second away from getting himself that top 5. In fact, it could be even be a top 4 because, of course, Rashid with his penalties. Like I said earlier, I don't think Matty has got himself any penalties. With him only being 1.8 seconds just behind Rashid, that's enough for him to be within the top 4. But Matty again, still not close enough as battle behind us. As Dre, in fact, Jos has gone round at the exit of the S's. In fact, it's not even the exit of the S's, that's in the middle of the S's. I was like, there, right again. 3 second time penalty. But look at how close Matty is to the back of Typhoon. And look how close Scope is now wielding in from Skyzy. Skyzy really is hoping that he does not get himself a puncture. Here we go then. So, Matty, DRS now wide open for him. Typhoon, no ERS for him. And now Matty is going to go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Has to go off track because I don't think he left him enough space at all. And that is move done for the Haas driver on the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, getting that move done. But Typhoon, of course, he's going to come back and have that DRS, but he's not going to be able to get close enough to getting him now. And we are now just approaching the final lap of the race. Skyzy's now making his way around the final corner to start the final lap. And this is where it's going to get spicy. Scope is only 3.5 seconds behind Skyzy. Skyzy, well, he's done a brilliant job of managing these tyres so far. 19 laps he's taken them. Gap now is only 3.3. Of course, he's not going to have the DRS here. No. Will he actually get DRS though? Coming off of the next corners. As MJ Coop, yet another 3-second time penalty for him. I think that has definitely solidified him outside of that top 10. But 2.8 seconds now. Scope is doing everything he can to try and push to get as close as he can to Skyzy. Skyzy, of course, one warning away as well from a penalty. I haven't seen him pick one up, and I haven't seen Scope pick one up either. Gap now 2.1 seconds, but I think it is too little too late. As Skyzy now, he's only got 2 corners left to go. 1.8 seconds is the gap between him and Scope, and as long as Skyzy doesn't get a puncture coming up towards the line, Skyzy, the Frenchman, he will come home and take the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and brings himself closer to his teammate in the championship. Scope, it was a valiant effort from the both of them, but in the end, Scope getting P2 and Skyzy does take the win. Podium cheater, well, it's in his name as his first podium of the season, so congratulations to him for taking P3. Rashid, he got himself another 3-second time penalty whilst I was just going over Skyzy and Scope just finish him. So Rashid says he's P4, but that's going to drop as actually Matty will take P4 and Typhoon will take P5. Fashion now will come home and actually jump Rashid as well, so he's P6. Rashid in P7, that's how many penalties he had. Dre finishes in P8, 6.5 seconds behind. Jos will come home in 9th and Ruben in 10th, but that again subject to change. No, it isn't. Jos does finish in 9th, Ruben in 10th, MJ Coop in 11th. Biofreak, he does finish in P12. As I said, he had quite a lot of penalties himself, so he did not manage to jump up ahead of MJ Coop, but that is round 5. Matty does take driver of the day, and in all honesty, I would either say him or Skyzy will take my driver of the day as well, because they both drove impeccable races throughout. So it says final classifications here for round 5 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Skyzy, the Frenchman, does come home to take the win, only just with 20 lap old medium tyres. Scope does finish in P2, only 1.5 seconds behind. I think one more lap and Scope would have been jumping for joy of managing to overtake Skyzy, but it was 1 lap too late for him. Podium Cheater does pick up the 3rd spot on the steps, shall I say. He does come home to pick up a podium. Matty finishes P4 with the fastest lap of the race as well. Typhoon does finish in 5th, with Fashion in 6th, Rashid in 7th, Dre in 8th, with Yoss in 9th, Ruben in 10th, MJ Coop in P11, only just missing out by 3 seconds from Ruben. Biofreak does take P12, Farnham takes P13, and the only one that unfortunately DNF'd was Lacerate. But that, everybody, has been round 5 of the Invictus Racing League tier, the PC tier, shall I say. Everybody, thank you very much for watching, and we have got an interesting one next week, guys. We are at the Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next week.